Is this a steak or cake? Well, it definitely wobbles and cuts like steak, but let's wait till we see the inside. Oh no, it's cake! Imagine pranking a meat lover with this. That would be so much fun. Hi, I'm Dia, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I made this juicy steak cake. Before we get started, remember there are three things that are very important when you're making a hyper-realistic cake. Number one is the shape, number two is the texture, and number three is the color. If you get these three things right, I promise you nobody will be able to tell the difference whether it's cake or real. So now let's get started. First, I took a round cake and cut the sides to make it look like a triangle. Then I carved the cake to give it the shape of a T-bone steak. I used a circle cutter to trim a half moon from the top middle. Then I covered the cake. To get the texture of the muscle fibers you see in a meat, I first pressed crumpled foil. Press it firmly all over the cake to get the marks. Don't be shy. The foil actually really helps to get the texture. Then I used a sharp blade to add more definition. Then finally, I used a Dresden tool to give the final touches to make it look super real. Now it's starting to get more interesting. And what follows after this is my favorite part. I wanted to add fatty bits, so I used some modeling chocolate to achieve that. I cut a T-bone shaped fondant and stuck it at the center. Then, with a hard bristle brush, I added texture to make it look like bone marrow. But what actually brought it to life was the dusting the texture with dark brown. What's most fascinating about realistic cakes is no two cakes are the same, and every cake is like a new puzzle to crack. It never gets boring. To give the cake the grill look, I used chestnut brown edible gel color and painted it on the cake. Here's a tip. Use a reference image of a real grill steak so you can paint it how it looks in real life. I used dark brown in some corners to give it a burnt look. I highlighted the fatty bits with yellow ochre to make the fat look well cooked and golden. It's slowly starting to look like I'm not decorating a cake anymore, but actually grilling real meat. This is exactly the reason why I absolutely love creating hyper-realistic cakes. Watching a cake slowly transform into something that doesn't look like a cake is so rewarding and therapeutic. To give the tempting, juicy look, I brushed piping gel all over the cake. It was looking so tasty, I won't lie. I was getting hungry, and it definitely wasn't for cakes. This cake took me about 3 hours to decorate, but sometimes some realistic cakes can take absolutely hours. For example, this snake cake took me about 14 hours. Painting just the pattern felt like it was never ending, but I think the result was so worth it. If you enjoy hyper realistic cakes, don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Back to the steak, which is slowly coming to life, and here it is, a juicy, delicious looking steak fit for a meat lover. But when you cut it, well, it's cake. If you have an idea what food cake you'd like to see next, let me know.